Hello and welcome to the BBC News School Report.
I'm Amber.
And I'm Ryan. Our top stories today.
Our reporters Jamie and Mahmood look at the Japanese earthquake in Fukushima, how it happened and what the situation is now. Over to you.
The Japanese earthquake, to be its worst crisis since the end of World War II, the devastating earthquake had shown no sympathy as it struck the people of Japan, killing hundreds and injuring many more. Then, just to sum it up, Japan was hit by a wave that was measured to be nearly 30 foot. This hit Japan with terrifying speed and destroyed most buildings in its path. The earthquake tore Japan's economy apart and disrupted the global supply chain for many industries all over Japan. It has the threat of a meltdown at nuclear power plant which could cause a global crisis.
Following the tragic tsunami on March 11th, one of the largest nuclear disasters ever to have hit the country of Japan has happened. Fukushima Daiichi is a nuclear plant in the northeast of Japan. This is how it happened.
The result of the tsunami caused many fires and explosions close to the plant. These fires then spread to the plant and problems started to occur. But the heart of the problem lies in their cooling systems.
The way a nuclear plant generates energy is by heating nuclear fuel in water to generate steam, but if the disaster happened, control rods are activated to shut down the reactors.
However, these systems failed because power supplies were damaged by the prior tsunami. The fact that there was a lack of power meant that the control rods could not be used and no water was injected to cool it. This meant that the nuclear material reacted with this steam, creating hydrogen gas, which is highly explosive.
Engineers tried to vent the gas and steam outside of the reactor. The hydrogen exploded and severely damaged the reactor buildings. To combat this, they tried filling the reactors with water with a rapid coolant. Engineers tried to vent the gas and steam outside of the reactor. The hydrogen exploded and severely damaged the reactor buildings. To combat this, they tried filling the reactors with water with a rapid coolant, also putting in boric acid, an acid which dampens nuclear reactions.
From this, many of the fires and explosions have taken place, and it is rumoured that in Reactor 2 has had its suppression chamber, a chamber that helps condense the steam, has been damaged and steam containing radioactive material has been released.
But on the 17th of March, helicopters dropped water on reactors 3 and 4 to give the water back to the storage pools with the fuel rods in them. To finally control the incident, power will have to be restored and pumps will be used to bring the pool back to safe temperatures.
Back to you, Amber and Brian.
Thank you for that. We'll keep you updated on the situation as it unfolds.
Our second story today. As the loud explosions are heard over Libyan capital of Tripoli, there has been claim and counterclaim over the number of civilian deaths caused by Allied airstrikes.
Over to Sean and Hannah with more.
After Gaddafi thought he had Libya back in control, the attack has continued, bringing in other countries such as the US, UK and France to help rebel against the government. The different countries have been sending in planes to airstrike and further rebel against the Libyan government and Muammar Gaddafi.
Loud explosions are heard over the Libyan capital of Tripoli, and a number of civilian deaths have been caused by Allied airstrikes. Libyan officials showed journalists the bodies of 18 military personnel and civilians who were said to have been killed by Western warplanes or missiles overnight.
RAF commanders involved in the airstrikes against Libya have said the international coalition has destroyed Colonel Gaddafi's air force. However, accounts on the ground from rebel-held towns suggest differently, and that attacks by his forces are still currently going on.
Thank you, Sean and Hannah.
The carriage that will carry Prince William and Kate Middleton away from Westminster Abbey as husband and wife has been revealed. Here's Megan and Hannah with more on this story.
Prince William and Kate Middleton's wedding is set to be the most spectacular wedding of the century. The fairy tale wedding is nearly complete with the use of a stunning golden red carriage.
This carriage is an open-top 1902 state landau and is a vintage classic make. This was the same carriage used to carry Princess Diana to her royal wedding in 1981. They will be following Prince Charles and the late Diana, who famously used this carriage on the return from their wedding.
Behind the carriage there will be 4 horse-drawn coaches which will carry the bridal party. The Queen and Prince Philip will travel in a semi-state landau. Kate will travel to the Abbey in a Rolls Royce, which was previously damaged by angry Obs as it carried Charles and Camilla during student protests in December.
With the carriage now confirmed, it is set to be the perfect wedding. Thank you, Amber and Ryan. Now back to you.
Thank you for that interesting story.
Now here's today's sport with Ross, Dan and Mohammed.
Thank you, Ryan and Amber. And over the week there's been very exciting things on sport. So over to Dan to talk about the upcoming Olympics.
Thanks, Mohammed. As the Olympic draws ever closer, Great Britain is finding some great contenders. Just like Great Britain has discovered a great new cyclist for the future, 18-year-old Sam Harrison is an impressive new rider for the Olympics. He showed great potential from a young age and is better now than he has ever been. In other news, the volleyball team is all set and ready to go. It will take place at the House of Cards and is hoping to attract many people. The Olympics is welcoming many new and exciting sports, just like water polo, which hasn't been in the Olympics for 56 years. So far, it is looking in good stead for the Olympics, and as they get all trained and ready for it, there are more and more people that think England have a good chance of reaching high up. Over to Ross now, who has the latest in football.
Thank you, Dan. With the Premier League getting closer to the end of the season, picking up points is extremely important. 41,741 turned out to watch Manchester City entertain Chelsea. Both teams knew they had to win. To see them ever closer to the Champions League. Fernando Torres returned to the starting lineup on his 27th birthday. He was joined up front by Salomon Kalou, while Didier Drogba and Nicolas Anelka sat on the bench. David Luiz headed Chelsea into the lead on the 78th minute mark. Chelsea finished the job in the injury time when Ramirez got clean through and scored. Chelsea 2, Manchester City 0. West Bromwich Albion strengthened their survival chances with a 2-2 draw at home to Arsenal. Man United stay at the top of the Premier League with a lucky 1-0 win at home to Bolton. Next week, Man United will travel to West Ham, both teams needing 3 points. Now over to Mohammed, who has some breaking news.
Thanks, Ross. But finally, on an unfortunate note, Wales's Gareth Bale has suffered an injury to his hamstring and therefore is out to play England in the Euro qualifier in 2012. A scan suggests that Gareth Bale had received his injury last week and was said to be tight during training. However, this is a huge blow to Wales, as Tottenham have described Gareth Bale as having been excellent over the season. Well, that's it for Sport News, and over to the presenters Ryan and Amber.
Next up are Dan and Tom with the school news, including the latest news that our school, Walton High, might be converting to an academy by September 2011 and the Walton Rock gig.
Very recently, Walton has announced that it is applying to become an academy. Dan is interviewing the head teacher, Mr. Finley, to find out how this will affect the school.
How are schools choosing to become academies?
Well, the type of academy that we're looking to become, there are two real options, and it depends on your Ofsted category. If you are an outstanding school, then you are eligible according to the Department for Education to apply to become an academy, or if you are a good school with outstanding features, the same thing applies. In our most recent Ofsted inspection in March 2009, we received a good rating with outstanding features, and therefore I was contacted by the Department for Education in November to let me know that we were eligible to apply for academy status.
What changes will be made to the school when this happens?
Very few in effect. I don't envisage major changes at all. We are a very high performing school, as you're aware, and it's my opinion that things aren't broken and therefore they don't need to be fixed. However, I do envisage that we would be in greater control of our own destiny. We'd have more funds, more of our own funds to spend. And so from a pupil point of view, I wouldn't expect very many changes at all. It is possible that the name of the school might incorporate the word academy, although clearly that decision hasn't been taken because at the moment we're only in consultation, only in the process of consultation. But I would hope that after a period of a few months that students might begin to notice that they've got better equipment in school, better ICT equipment, for example, and better resources. But in terms of other things that I know that students are worried about, such as lengthening the school day or extending the school year, I'm telling you now, I'm not interested.
Our second story today is the Walton Rock gig. About 5 bands will be playing, including the Rise of Nations. Now Dan is interviewing 2 of the members of the band, Ryan and Charlie, about the rock gig.
So Ryan, Charlie, how was your band Rise of Nations formed?
Basically, the band started on the 1st of February when me and Mikey decided to have a band practice before school. As it went well, we recruited Charlie to play bass and provide backing vocals for us. After quitting my old band, I wanted to join a new one that would have the same ideas as me and would like the same music. Also, Michael was keen to start the band, having never been in one before.
What other bands are performing at the Walton Rock gig, and is there any competition?
Well, we're the youngest of the bands and the newest, so in the gig we're going to try and make a big impression on the other bands, as well as the judges. We're going to do 6 songs, including The Kooks, Blur and more.
And that was the sport.
And finally, here's today's weather with Matt and Matt.
Thank you, Ryan. In Stornoway, the weather will be mostly cloudy with sunny spells throughout the day. It will be reaching highs of 9 degrees Celsius and lows of 5 degrees. In Aberdeen, it is mostly sunny with highs of 11 degrees and lows of 4 degrees. Edinburgh is sunny for most of the day and its highest temperature is 14 degrees, with its lowest being 2 degrees. Moving into England, it is sunny all day in Liverpool, with a high temperature of 15 degrees and a low temperature of 4 degrees. Birmingham will be the hottest in the UK, with a warm 16 degrees as its high and 4 degrees for its low.
London will be mostly sunny with high temperatures of 15 degrees and 3 degrees as its low temperatures. Now moving into Ireland. In Belfast, it will be sunny for most of the day with some cloud. Dublin will be very sunny and it has highs of 13 degrees and lows of 4 degrees. Shannon is the hottest place in Ireland, reaching high temperatures of 16 degrees and low temperatures of 2 degrees. Finally, Cork will be cloudy with lots of short sunny spells and it is reaching highs of 13 degrees and lows of 3 degrees. Back to you, Ryan.
Thanks for that, Matt and Matt.
For any local stories, please go to
www.waltonstaffs.com.
That's all from us here at BBC News School Report.
Thanks and goodbye.